probably what I'm known best for. I continue to make it for many, many different clients around the Napa Valley. And I love making Cab. It's just such a beautiful, you know, wine, and just, it grows, I think, no place better than in the Napa Valley. And the expression that you can get from different Cabernet blocks throughout the valley is really exciting to me. And I continue to love to, you know, be surprised sometimes, and you know, just delighted by the amount of flavor and array of variety that you can get just with that one variety of grape, Cabernet. It can express itself many different ways. Mine is kind of a classic blend. It's predominantly Cab on the 2016, which is what you're drinking. It is probably something like 90%, 90, 91, 92, right in there, percent Cabernet. Then there's a little dollop of Merlot in there, and typically a very small percentage of Cabernet Franc. So kind of back to basics on the 16. In the past, sometimes I have thrown a little Petit Verdot in there. For 16, no. I just thought I'm always looking for the flow like silk expression across the palate. And for that year, that's how I got there. It is a very complete wine, which is always what I'm looking for. Some of you may have heard my 6 count, where I divide the impression of how wines taste into a count of 6. So think about the beginning palate is 1, 2, mid palate is 3, 4, and the finish is 5, 6. And for something like the Cab, I want that whole 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 flow like silk across the palate. I want you to get all cylinders, you know, on full tilt on that wine. So different varieties will plug into those different slots. And Cabernet Franc is often only 1, 2 for me. It's usually a little pow factor right in the initial palate. The first thing you taste, a little wow factor. That can come from Cab Franc. It is a burst right at the beginning, but Cab Franc often by itself sort of falls off a cliff. It doesn't have a fat middle very often by itself, or much length. It can be, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4 sometimes, but almost never, nothing in the 5, 6 slot. But that's not how I use it. I want it to fill in that wow factor 1, 2. Cabernet can come in with the 3, 4, 5, 6. Merlot is often fat, lush middle, like 3, 4, 5, something like that. But it's just a tool that I use that works for me. I made it up years ago because it's how it helps me visualize and make a wine very complete. Like if I want to add a little more richness to something, like in the 4 or 5 slot, I can go back to my samples and see which wine is going to give that to me and plug that into the blend. So it's kind of a useful tool as a winemaker, as well as helping, you know, anybody describe wine. Like you guys are welcome to make that your own and use it to help you remember other wines. Like if there's something that seems like it has a hollow middle, well, it could have used a little more in the 3, 4 slot, or it has a short finish. You only get 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's a really fun tool to play with, and it kind of changes how you think about how does wine strike your palate, how does it feel in the mouth. We're all used to all the clever descriptors that all these wine writers are able to come up with. I'm always so impressed with that because I sort of struggle with wine notes. I've gotten better at it over the years, but some of the creative descriptions that they come up with always are kind of entertaining as well. So this is not about that. This is just about how does it feel across the palate, and is it a complete wine? So